the understanding of all of those divisional issues and the priorities really served then for us to begin to formulate the idea in our mind that we needed to have more uniformity, standard operating procedures, and the driving force behind that would potentially be one single estimating platform. So when we were there, we actually walked up to the board and we started trying to take a little bit of account of all the different software systems that we were using across the country. And it was pretty interesting. We found out we were using 4 different estimating tools, and that includes the dreaded Excel. We used 7 different takeoff tools, and we had 3 different subcontractor management tools. So I don't know if that sounds familiar to folks, but a lot of the divisions, as the company grew, had their own inherent tools or own things that they used, and they just kind of grew locally with using those tools. But it became very obvious, I'm sure you've been through this before, when, for example, you're reaching out, you have a client that calls you up and he wants to have a cost estimate in 30 minutes, and he wants to know how much a 20-story office building is going to cost. And so you reach out to all your different friends in the different markets to try to get some cost history to pull together that you can benchmark against or use as a cost model. And all you get is all these different estimates in different formats that really have no context to them. And you try your best to pull that together, use it for cost history, and deliver it to your client. So with that thought in mind and the realization, it was decided that it would be in the best interest of us, of Balfour Beatty, to have that one platform. And I call it a platform because when we were looking at it, we decided we needed to have a cost estimating tool. We needed to have a cost history tool, and we wanted to have a subcontractor management / prequalification tool. There were some specific things, the trends that we recognized in the marketplace and in the different marketplaces that kind of drove our decision making. One was really the evolution of pre-construction in our industry. I think that we realized as we discussed the different markets and the clients that we had was that estimating is really, and pre-construction is really not about accurate cost estimates anymore. That's almost become a common thing. It's expected, and it's really more about the varied skill set that you need to have at this point, and the varied tools that you need to have at this point to drive the entire process from soup to nuts all the way through procurement, and to be that advocate for the owner. And the truth is that today estimating itself is more about the expected accuracy that you have, but communicating it. It's all about how you're going to communicate that information to your client. So that was one thing that we realized that our tool needed to have, was something that helped us communicate in a timely fashion to help our owners make informed decisions quickly and consistently. We also recognized, and again, I'm sure everybody's up on this, but model-based estimating, utilizing the model to do takeoff. We've all sold it a million times in front of all of our clients on how we utilize the model, but we also recognize all the challenges of getting a useful model from the design team, and recognize the fact that there are certain applications you can use the model for to do good, accurate takeoff on, and then there's other applications where 2D takeoff is just as efficient. And so we wanted something that gave us the ability to really kind of flip between both of those. One of the other things was being able to have a direct link between those quantities in the model and or the 2D takeoff into your estimate. Another item that we talked about was target value design. We use target value design in what we do quite often. It requires kind of a continuous updating to our clients as we're going through, always referencing back to your benchmark estimate and your benchmark priorities. And so we wanted something that would help kind of facilitate the communication of that to our clients. There's always been, and this is another one I'm sure everybody's very familiar with, the continued push to reduce overhead, because we all know that pre-construction is just a support service. And, so we've all been asked to do more with less. So it was very desirable for us to be able to be more efficient and help our everyday user be much more efficient in what they do on everything from just takeoff to conceptual estimating. And then probably the last thing is, I'm sure you've heard the term FreeCon. Again, this goes along with being able to be efficient and have access to cost history very quickly and easily. You know, especially for those of you that work in the private market, you recognize the fact that we're doing a lot of FreeCon. It's part of our sales support. It's part of how we generate business, and it's something that requires a lot of cost history to be able to quickly and accurately respond to our clients, and that was another thing that we really were specifically looking for in a new estimating tool.